So we're talking about when and how to discipline a toddler, and this is part two. So we're talking about when and how to discipline a toddler, and this is part two of a four-part series talking about disciplining toddlers. And if you're just joining us, we're Bonnie and
Thomas Liotta.
Yes, and we help families all over the world transform defiant, inappropriate behavior into healthy, happy, cooperative kids and more happiness for the parents. So if you're just learning about us, you can click over at the top right hand of your screen there to watch part one of the series. And this is part two, and we're going to share the number one thing you can do as a mom with your toddler that will change everything from now till forever for you as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
In the first video, we shared with you what you would find if you Googled, and you probably already did, how to discipline a toddler. And it talked about correcting inappropriate behavior. So let's nip that in the bud right now, Tom. What do we call inappropriate behavior?
The man in the yellow hat, curious George behavior. Ooh, something shiny. Ooh, something that just, I wonder what that is. And they just want to touch, they want to feel, they want to hear. They have these five senses of how they interact with the world, and whatever they can do to stimulate that. Wow, there's so much to do in one day. I don't even know if I'm going to get it all done today. They just want to play.
Right. So they just want to play. They're driven by their curious nature. So they don't actually have to be discipline in the way that we're taught with timeouts and takeaways and yelling or telling them no or anything like that.
100%.
What's the one thing parents can do right now, Tom, that would change everything with them and their toddler now and forever?
Gosh, I almost feel like a cheerleader. Give me a V. Give me an A. Give me, okay, well, fast forward. It's called validate.
Validate. Okay.
Who is great?
Now,
you are, because I can validate.
Remember in the first video, we said that we're going to be sharing truths with you based on principles, not theory or opinion. And, you know, some things that we say, you might be like, I don't know if I agree with that or not, because it's so far out of the norm. But here's the thing. Are you looking for change? Do you want better results? Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again, expecting different results. And what's happening right now with our children from 2 to 3 to 4, all the way up to the teenage years, is if they don't listen and comply and they have their own thoughts going on and they're trying to get you to see their greatness and they're not actually listening to the best of their abilities from our adult perspective, what's happening is these children are being labeled. They're being diagnosed with things like ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder. There's over 1 million toddlers in the United States alone right now being medicated for their behavior, when all we need to do is change our approach. Rather than coming in, seeing them acting out with inappropriate behavior, we see them being driven by this curious nature. And as Tom said, they want to touch everything. They want to experience everything, because the truth is, as a human being, none of us, you included, none of us can learn by lecture. Now, you being an adult, you can have the ability to come back and press play on these videos again and again, because awareness is the first law of learning, and repetition for an adult mind is the second law of learning. For a child, they must experience things. So do you want to share that a little bit? Because if you didn't watch the first video, Thomas has worked with thousands of kids from 2 to 18. Most of the kids he's worked with were on the spectrum of some sort. They were on the behavior disorder spectrum, and he developed a reputation for fixing kids like this. So can you share a little bit, give some examples of what it means to validate?
All right. So some examples of validation.
Yes.
99.9999989% of the time, you're going to see something that you don't like. That means you are engaging. But if you can just hold that negative thought and go, there's that little curious nature that knows that there's a big kid trusted advisor in his corner to recognize when they're being curious and guide them to their greatness versus punish them into compliance. It's the validation that they're ready to learn, become that disciple, which means discipline, not to punish, as it's now been rewritten in the, I guess if you call it, it's the English dictionary now, right?
Yeah.
So the curious nature is feeding all these magical things that they have. I want to hear. Can I see? Could I have a taste? Could I give it a go? What does it feel like? Can I touch it? You see, these are things that are going to be stimulated. They need to be engaged. And without engaging these, well, every offspring pretty much just withers away and dies. So we want to stay alive, and that child's just staying alive by just doing something. And if we can validate that that little curious George is ready to play, well, are you ready to step in as a guider and guide them into their greatness?
So to validate, now we're going to give you a few examples of what it looks like to validate. And on the next video, we're going to dive deeper into what it looks like to guide toddler behavior. So right now we're talking only about validate. So remember in the last video, we shared the example of the toddler going by the wine glasses that happen to be at eye level. Don't comment on why the glasses that are, hypothetically speaking, the glasses are at eye level and the toddler comes by and he goes ding, 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 ding.
Ooh, I hear somebody's making a sound.
Right? Because we've got the reframe. We went from, oh, I need to discipline for inappropriate behavior to, oh, my toddler, just driven by a curious nature, has no idea how the world works. They're counting on you to see their greatness. And so as they go ding, 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 you might see inappropriate behavior, but you're going to take a deep breath and go,
I hear a little musician being able to make some sound. Now, I'm not saying you're ready for this step, but you might start to be a little curious, George, yourself and go, I wonder who is making that sound. This is so key. Pause and take this in. I wonder who that might be. Now, two things are going to happen. The old way was like, I didn't do it because you came inappropriate. But I wonder who's making that sound. And we want them to come to us or run from us. If they come to us, you'd be like, I did, because it's on the positive side. That's the power of the validation, is it to keep the communication strong, but if both messages were saying the same thing, which one has the higher vibration?
Right, because nothing drives me more crazy than to see these like gentle parenting videos going, nope, you can't touch the glasses and it's okay to have feelings, but we don't do that because there's no validation in what the child's doing and there's no life skills training on what they're supposed to do.
Or I'm going to stand here and make sure that you don't touch them.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Okay, so like I said, stick with us. We're going somewhere. Right now, we're validating. All right, so I'm a toddler. I take a chair, I push it to the counter, I climb on the counter, and I reach for the cookie jar.
Wow. Looks like, well, somebody's starting to mimic playing that amazing game called Monkey See, Monkey Do. I wonder who saw me get a cookie out of the cookie jar and wants to do it all by themselves. I wonder who that person is, because the validation is to recognize the action, not as inappropriate, but it's an action that's called inevitable. That's the power. The validation is to see what is really happening, and then you have a choice of which direction to go, which we'll cover more in the next video. But validation is always king when you start this process.
Okay, so I am climbing on the outside of the banister on the way up the stairs.
Ooh, look who's being able to use his body in a safe way to get where he wants to go.
I'm throwing food from my high chair.
Wow, look who's communicating. I'm going to guess I'm all done. That's called away. Keep them coming.
I spilled juice on the floor.
Look who's discovering what is called out of the cup.
I took all the puzzle that was on the table and knocked it off onto the floor.
Whoa, this is called off, or better yet, take apart.
That's awesome. So is this making sense for you? Do you get what it means to validate? It just means to recognize that your child is doing something and you're giving them positive attention. And the next step is going to bring this all home.
Oh, Bonnie, do we have time for one more?
No. Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a toddler and I'm hitting my sibling.
Wow. Now, this could be one of two things. Somebody wants to play tag, or look who's actually choosing to get somebody's attention.
Right. Now, remember, we warned you we were going to say things that are going to be out of your comfort zone, or we're going to say things that might make you go, is this for real? Here's my challenge to you. All right. For the rest of the day or until the next video comes out or you have a chance to watch it, validate. No matter what your toddler does, just come along and see them through these curious lenses and just simply, I see you putting the puzzle on the floor. That's called on the floor.
That's right.
That's
just see. That's right. Just see if you can.
Doing.
Right. Just see if you can just call it what it is and not be emotionally attached.
That's the huge thing, because here's the truth. Your toddler has no idea how the world works. They are counting on you to show them step by step how to do anything and everything. The minute that they start to put the puzzle on the floor or they spill the juice, that means I'm ready to learn how to pour my own juice, or I'm ready to learn how to drink juice out of a cup, or I'm ready to learn how to put the puzzle away. I'm ready to learn the next step, but you're not ready yet with the skills of guiding behavior to take the next step. So simply validate everything that you see, whether you like it or not. They colored on the wall. Ooh, look at the artist, because they're not doing anything. I promise you, your toddler is not waking up in the morning going, what can I do to tick off my parents today? They're not sitting there 1 second saying, I want to be bad or act inappropriate for attention. Never. Okay. So we need to erase that from our mindset on every level. We need to look at our children. Once we make this change, we'll be able to save children and save families, save your family. And if I sound like I'm a little bit passionate about this, I am so passionate about this because I know that every single toddler right now is being told no and being dragged into timeouts and being punished for things that nobody's ever taking the time to show them. And that's why we're here doing these videos. So I love you. Like, I want the best for you. I would love to hear the success story of you and your toddler working together in harmony. It is possible. Your toddler has so much potential that we never give them credit for, because the parent training that we've had in the past has been so focused on this inappropriate behavior or defiant behavior or what the child's doing wrong, that we aren't even able to see the truth about the potential of our child. But when you get this and you get on your child's level, and I don't mean get on their level and make eye contact and lecture them, because that will never work. What I mean is get on their level by being a little more empathetic and understanding, like, you have no clue how things work, and it's my job not to punish you, but to show you. And I want to hear the examples in the comments below this video. What happened when you validated your toddler? Come back to us, watch video number 3. In the meantime, as you're waiting for that video, if you look over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a long-form training video that will dive deep into what it means to validate. And you're actually going to get some sneak peeks on the next video that we're going to share with you too. But we have something special up our sleeve, and you're going to want to make sure to see that.
Yeah. And if I can just go on record and say, Bonnie, what you're doing is really making your dream that every child know that they can become a somebody before the age of 12, and that every mother knows that this is at least an option that will for them.
Yes.
It's so powerful, and it's coming truer more and more every single day.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing you on video number 3. And of course, until we meet again, here's to your parenting success. Cheers.
Bye for now.